Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And guys, what I'm about to walk you through is all of a sudden, magically, the media has discovered this Kansas machine gun overruling case, and now it's of the utmost importance. You got Reuters writing about it, the AP writing about it. All of a sudden, it's a tremendous concern, and the gun control groups are leveraging quotes in these articles to all of a sudden say how much of a big deal this is, all the while originally said it's just an outlier, it's not a big deal at all. Guys, what I'm about to walk you through is you being over the target and them being real afraid and firing flak, because what I'm about to show you is really important. Now, of course, everything will be linked in the description box right down there. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments. But before you get to writing those comments, make sure this guy is not absconding away with your prescription to freedom and the subscription on this channel, because we've got a lot of people. And every single time that I start to notice a dip in subscription, it's not because you guys aren't subscribing. It's because this greenhorn monster right here is snacking on a subscription, absconding away with your freedom, and denying you the rights and the information you need to pass this freedom on to the next generation. So don't let this jerk face take your freedom. Make sure that subscription's on, and let's get him out of here, because no one likes him, like, at all. But it's important that we show his face every once in a while to remind you of the malfeasance. Now, we've already talked about this. You and I talked about this 2, 3, 4 days ago. Well, there's good news. The media is finally catching up, and the thing that didn't matter all of a sudden matters. Check this out. I got a few points highlighted that I really want you guys to see. Kansas judge throws out machine gun possession charge, cites the Second Amendment. We covered this, but it's on the AP, and this is the important piece. They'll always tell you what they're afraid of. And listen to these highlighted points. No, as you can see, the date right here, sorry. The date was August 23rd. The filming of this video is the 24th of August. So they're a little bit behind when we covered this last week. A federal judge in Kansas has tossed out a machine gun possession charge and questioned if bans on the weapons violate the Second Amendment. It is quite obvious that they violate the Second Amendment. I don't know why that's a question. They try to go down the road of unusual and dangerous, but that's flimsy at best. But anyway, let's continue. If upheld on appeal, the ruling by U.S. District Judge John W. Brooms in Wichita could have a sweeping impact on the regulation of machine guns, including homemade automatic weapons that many police and prosecutors blame for fueling gun violence. Now, they're specifically talking about converted pistols or Glock switches. That's what they're referencing. But on an overall just basis, they are over the target. This does have the ability to truly make an impact on the overregulation and infringement of machine guns, suppressors, and short-barreled rifles, i.e. the National Firearms Act, i.e. 1934. Okay? This is a really important piece, because they're about to start educating their readers who don't know the stuff that we know about the Second Amendment. Listen to where this goes. Again, every single time we do something like this, it is important. As of Friday, no appeal has been filed. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Wichita declined to comment. Now, they can obviously appeal it. This was a district court level. This is a federal court judge. But again, listen to where this goes. This is all AP. Jacob Charles, an associate law professor at Pepperdine University who tracks Second Amendment cases, said the Kansas ruling is direct fallout from the Bruen decision. It is direct fallout from the Bruen decision. They are correct at Pepperdine University. It's coming from the change in the standards and the tests that you have to do to infringe upon the Second Amendment. You now have to have the plain text and the history, text, and tradition. It is quite simple what you have to do. You have to say it's happened before, and that's why they struggle. That's why they always cite racist things like Protestants, African Americans, and Native Americans can't have guns back in the 1800s, or 1600s rather. It's real twisted, but they want that gun control, so, priorities. But neither here nor there, let's continue. Charles expects Broom's ruling to be overturned, which, to be fair, it totally could be, citing Supreme Court precedent allowing for regulation of machine guns. Now, this is where it's important. This is key. Eric Rubin, a fellow at the Brennan Center and an associate law professor of Southern Methodist University, agreed. As far as I know, this is the first time in American history that a machine gun has been found unconstitutional in its application, Rubin said. I believe that is correct, and that's why it's so important. Remember, the historical move, as Democrats have all the history behind them. This is historic. The first African-American president, the first woman president. Everything under the sun is historic. I took an amazing BM earlier. It was historic. That is literally the methodology of the Democrats recently. But let's continue, because they don't like it here. Shira Feldman of Brady United Against Gun Violence called the ruling an incredibly dangerous decision, and it's inconsistent with what the Supreme Court has said on Second Amendment means. Okay, again, they're going down the dangerous and unusual they're referencing in the Heller decision, but the Bruin decision circumvents it. Understand where we're at on this, and I think that's the last one I have in this. Yeah, it is in this article. But let me jump to the second article because this is now from Reuters. U.S. judge tosses machine gun possession case, calls ban unconstitutional. Again, there's the date, August 23rd. So the same day they're writing these things, okay? Got a few more highlighted points. There we go. The U.S. Department of Justice can appeal the decision, which the gun safety group Everytown Law in a statement called extreme and reckless. Prosecutors did not respond to a request for comment. Morgan's lawyer declined to comment as well. This is the important piece. This is the propaganda. This is the manipulation. This is the talking points. Extreme and reckless. That's exactly what they've called the Supreme Court. Ever since they've been on the right leaning, it's been extreme, it's been reckless. Far right court, all out of touch, out of scope, all these pieces. Then you go over to the other Brady quote where it's saying it's a dangerous decision. All of these things, that they are meant to manipulate you without manipulating you. And this is the part where I was telling you about the 1934 part. Listen to this. Congress first moved to limit machine guns through the National Firearms Act in 1934, which was enacted after the weapons became commonly used by criminals during the Prohibition era. In 1986, it went further and barred possessing machine guns that were not lawfully possessed prior to that year. This is an important piece and a distinction you guys have to know. When the media goes down these points and they start educating their clientele and educating their readers because they don't know the history of firearms like you and I do, that's a point of weakness. Because they can't make the arguments that they're making if the clientele or the readers don't understand the history and the context. Okay. Now, I believe there's one more thing here. Yeah, right here. This kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. While prosecutors pointed to laws from the 1700s and 1800s barring the use of dangerous or unusual weapons, Broom said those historical examples focused on their use to terrorize the public, not simply possessing them in the first place. So it's use, it's not possession. That's a very important piece. Now I'm going to go big screen for this part. This is effectively saying if you owned a firearm that was fully automatic or fully auto capable and you just had it in a gun safe, that's a little bit different than menacing people and using it for terroristic threats. That's a very important distinction because what the status quo is, if you just have it in mere existence, then it's a terrible, scary thing that is an infringement upon freedoms and safety across the board, even if you're not using it in a negative manner. The mere existence. Do you see how all of this is tying together, the 1934 to the 1986? See how there's a consistent line of if, then, if, buts? It's an if-then statement. This is key. This ruling is very important. And for these articles and these outlets to start covering it and teaching their audience, you're over the target. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.